Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas. We are live from the New Canaan High School gym on a wonderful Friday night. And the New Canaan boys basketball team, fresh off of a state championship win last March, look to start their 2019-2020 season off strong up against the Kaynor Tech Panthers. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by the NCTV crew, and we have a special guest tonight. I'm color commentator, a current New Canaan High School JV basketball player, Brendan Tiscornia. Brendan, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Ian, such an honor to be here. I watch a lot of the broadcasts, and I see the way you do it. You're the best.
Well, I'm flattered. I'm blushing right now. You guys can't see it, but let's get to the game. Brendan, you just played in the JV game, and you beat Kaynor Tech's JV team, but now we are on varsity in number 33. Big John Hall is up for the tip-off to get this 2019 season underway, and he will. Point guard Ryan McAleer brings it down. McAleer led the Rams in assists last year, 6 per game. Here's Brandon Seachin, and in the corner, Alex Gibbons. The two captains for the Rams are McAleer as well as an injured Hank Poley. Leo Magnus is a new starter for the Rams. He shoots a 3, and he misses. Running it up the court is Scott D'Alessio. And here's Jared Gomez for the Panthers. The Rams have played the Panthers in each of the last 2 years in their season openers, and they've beaten them in both. They're looking to make it a third straight year.
Look for a 2-3 on defense from both teams. Panthers will stay in that defense for most of the game. The Rams are quite unpredictable on defense, Ian.
Unpredictable there. 2 missed layups from Leo Magnus and Alex Gibbons on a fast break opportunity created by a Panthers turnover. Here's Gomez. Looking for the pass. Magnus is on him. He'll drive left and kick it to D'Alessio. These are the two guys who have had the ball the most for the Panthers. And here's Fernando Cerda. Here's Cerda in the corner for 3, and he's well short. A rebound from the Panthers and tussling on the floor. It will stay in Kaynor Tech possession. And Gibbons, the second leading scorer, Alex Gibbons, that is, number 5, just got into college to play up in Minnesota at, I believe, Carleton University, if I'm not.
Carleton College.
Carleton College. And that is going to be a foul on Masai Johnson, his first, and the Rams are going to get the ball right back. What do you see from Gibbons' game, Brendan, that makes him such a lethal scorer, especially in the playoffs last year where he made 11 of 12 shots in those last 2 playoff games?
Well, standing at 6'3", he is the size of a big man, but he can shoot and dribble like a guard.
And he will play mostly the 4 and a little bit of a 3 tonight. New Canaan turns it over. Here's D'Alessio. Gets it down to Cerda. Cerda, nice move, no finish. And John Hall gets the rebound and draws the foul on Cerda. Hall, injured for a good chunk of last year, didn't get a whole lot of playing time. Was slotted to be the backup center this year behind captain Hank Poley. But Poley's going to miss about 4 to 6 weeks with a lower body injury. And Hall now in the starting lineup.
There's been a lot of injury issues for the Rams. And there's been a next man up mentality that's really had to show itself in unfortunate circumstances.
Well, Hall's a solid player, and Brandon Seachin, number 4, a senior, just shot that 3-pointer. He was also projected to be a backup when the season started. Will Bozzella, the junior, was supposed to start in his place, but Bozzella suffered what's most likely a season-ending knee injury. And Seachin is a guy who, when I talked to Coach Melzer earlier today, said is the most improved player he's seen from last year to this year. So even though he wasn't supposed to be a starter, he is a very talented player in his own right. Kaynor Tech turns it over. Seachin with the steal, but he loses it. And Kaynor Tech and D'Alessio have it back. It's a defensive battle so far, and going for 2 free throws in a second will be Masai Johnson.
Now, Brandon Seachin, he's a spirit in the locker room. You notice him all the time. He's high-spirited.
And terrific three-point shooter.
Brings energy to the team.
Johnson looking to get the first points of the game for either team, and he does. Kaynor Tech came all the way down from Waterbury. The Rams have played them on the road last year and demolished them 85-48. They played them at home at the start of the 2016 season. Coach Melzer's first game as a coach here in New Canaan was a 79-57 win over the Panthers. in the corner. Seachin is wide open, and he is just short.
We're seeing some nerves from the Rams. This team can be inconsistent, but their defense is normally terrific.
John Hall with a nice box out, and New Canaan will keep possession. As the combo of Ryan McAleer and Alex Gibbons should be a lethal one for the Rams. Both of them were named Rudin Report All-FCAC second team players, and both of them were starters last year as juniors. And both of them have well over 40 games of varsity experience already. And as Coach Melzer told me in our interview today, you just can't teach experience.
That's true, Ian. That's why you look at a guy like Alex Gibbons, who started 3 years for this Rams team. You see why he's playing in college.
Step back three from Jared Gomez, no good. It has been a defensive battle for the first 3 minutes of this one. Just 2 points between these two teams. The Rams were a pretty good team offensively last year. Brendan, you said it's hesitation that's slowing them down. Anything else you're seeing from their lackluster offense so far?
Well, they're not getting the ball in the paint, actually. Well, they got it in there right there, but they're also forcing shots. They're not getting open looks like they want. And when they are getting open looks, they're not falling.
And Serta takes a tough fall, falls right on Alex Gibbons, who breaks his fall a little bit on the break, but
oh, he's down.
That's a tough one. And that's a big blow for this Kaynor Tech team. But Kaynor Tech is playing a really great game right now. But losing one of their key guys on an already pretty thin roster. Not the greatest look.
These past 2 years have been blowouts, but Coach Melzer preaches the importance of this game. Each game is the biggest game. There's no next game without this game.
Talking to him today, talking to him, how did he celebrate that win in the state championship game over Granby Memorial last year in D4? And he said during the year he never appreciated how well his team was doing and how well the team came together. But once the year ended, he made sure to give players enough time to celebrate, to go on to their spring sports, to remember the great year, and then regroup in the summer. But when I interviewed him last year before games, he'd always have that on to the next game mentality, because that's just who Coach Melzer is. He's locked in whenever it's basketball season. It's always on to the next. And it's worked, as he went 19-5 last year, only 9 combined wins over his first 2 years here at New Canaan. But last year, going 19-5, brought the Rams to their first state championship in 30 years and brought them to their first state championship win in 57 years. A huge moment for basketball in this town, as it really hasn't been as prevalent as it was until last year, where it really started to gain a lot of attraction among the students and the entire town.
Even looking at this game, we've got a large enough crowd to fill out the bleachers. A couple years ago, there'd be about 10, 15 kids here.
Well, it's a program that didn't have much success and maybe did not deserve support, but now it does, as New Canaan is one of the top teams in the FCAC, one of the top teams in the state, now in Division III, moved up from Division IV. They're going to face a lot more FCAC talent, a lot of big FCAC heavyweights this year. Trinity Catholic, Wilton, a lot of big-time teams, Brendan. Kaynor Tech is an out-of-conference squad from the CTC division. They play a lot of tech schools up in the middle of the state. This is an out-of-conference game for both teams. And not a lot of info about Kaynor Tech heading into this one from a scouting perspective, but they have played them the last 2 years.
Yes.
And why don't we talk a little bit about a guy in Leo Magnus, who is the only junior starting for the Rams this year, number 20, the small forward. Talk a little bit about his game and what he can do and why he's starting at such a young age for the Rams.
Well, Leo did not play a lot last year, surprisingly, although he did start on JV. But his size and athleticism is not something you normally see at a school like New Canaan. He can handle the ball and shoot like a guard, but he's also 6'5" and can jump out the gym.
So a star athlete on a team, but usually dominates game with fundamentals. Serta is out with the injury, but he walked off the floor under his own power. Good to see there. So at the line will be Mike Morales, who comes off the bench to shoot these ones for the Panthers. Little one, the first one, a little strong, as Aaron Fishman, the backup point guard and star free throw shooter for the Rams, checks in for Leo Magnus.
Aaron Fishman is a fan favorite here.
Good point, Brendan. I wasn't sure why the bomb squad went off for a second, but you pointed that out. Fishman, in that big Stanford game last year, made those 2 free throws to tie the game up late, setting up the 3 free throws. You have a better memory than me, and I commentated the game. Alex Gibbons, his first 3-point attempt of the year, is offline. He was a sharpshooter down the stretch last year from beyond the arc. Here's Delicio.
5 for 5 from threes against St. Joe's in the state semifinal.
Kaynor Tech, mid-range jumper from the paint from Morales is good. And they're up 4-0.
This is not something we expected to see, folks.
Here's McAleer, one of the best first steps in the FCAC, passing it out to an open Aaron Fishman for 3, no good. Morales on the rebound. And here's Jared Gomez with the ball.
Now what I'm seeing, Ian, is that New Canaan's not getting a lot of second chances on offense. Kaynor Tech is scoring their points on second effort baskets.
That was a wide open basket. 3rd time's the charm, and it is for number 33, Masai Johnson. Maybe got a little too open for his own good and missed one of the wide open layups he's ever going to get in his varsity career. But great on the boards. He got 2 more chances. And down 6-0, Danny Melzer and his crew need to call a timeout. As you mentioned, definitely not what we expected so far. New Canaan, terrific last year, 19-5, 15-5 in the regular season before winning all 4 playoff games, obviously, and making it all the way to the state championship win in D4. Meanwhile, Kaynor Tech went 10-9 last year, playing mostly Tech teams, with that first loss on the season coming to New Canaan at home. But right now, defensively, Kaynor Tech has looked great, Brendan. They haven't really allowed New Canaan to get anything going. And offensively, they haven't done a lot, but they have a 6-0 lead.
Now, Coach Melzer's philosophy is that defense will turn into offense, but if you can't get a stop right away, there is no offense.
And obviously, a lot of younger players, inexperience-wise. I mean, you do have 4 seniors on the court right now, but last year, it was a senior-heavy squad, and this year you have 2 first-year starting seniors, and you also have a first-year starting junior. But this coaching staff is one of the best in the state, with Coach Danny Melzer winning FCAC Coach of the Year last year, and recently joining the staff, Zach Smith, a former Stanford High School head coach as of just this summer. But after 3 years at Stanford High, former coaching assistant with Danny Melzer at Stanford when Melzer was the head coach there for 4 years. A really great addition to the staff that Melzer loves. And you mentioned earlier has been a great coach. Here's Gibbons getting it down low, passing all around. Fishman's open for the 3, and he will take it, and he will not make it, as New Canaan can't get the rebound. Here's the fast break. Fishman gets the steal, but they're going to say he was out of bounds, and it's still Kaynor Tech basketball.
See that frustrated look on Fishman's face. Describes exactly how this game has been going.
He made a great play, but just couldn't get the feet in bounds. Here's Delicio kicking it to Gomez. Sechin's covering him. He gets doubled. Christian Sweeney, the junior, is in the game. No look pass to Delicio. Down low, and a beautiful layup from Richard Aram, his first basket on the year. What a terrific pass from Jared Gomez to set that one up. Here's Gibbons on the drive. Fishman's open, but he stumbled with the ball, and now he's covered up. Brandon Sechin's a great 3-point shooter. He lets it fly, no good. Ryan McAleer comes in and gets the putback bucket on the great effort from the starting point guard.
That's a huge bucket for the Rams, finally getting that chip off their shoulder.
Relieving a little pressure as McAleer makes a beautiful play on the boards. the starting point guard. You rarely see those guys crashing in and making plays, but that's the kind of player McAleer is. Shot is blocked by Alex Gibbons. And they're going to call a foul on Richard Eram.
Huge momentum play. This crowd's going crazy right now.
It's still a 2-8 game, 8-2 game, I should say, with the Panthers in the lead. But New Canaan is grabbing the momentum. Another great coach on his coaching staff. Your head coach on JV, Coach Tisch, his first year as the JV head coach, just got his first win. And another great part of this Rams coaching staff. Alex Gibbons open in the corner off the pass from Fishman. The Rams have capable shooters, Brendan, and they're getting open looks, but it just seems like they're a little jittery right now.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, Ian. They're not getting enough open looks. And when they do, they're just not ready.
Jared Davis slings it. It's deflected, got back by the Panthers. Shot put up by Delisio, no good. Here's McAleer on the break. It's a 3-on-1, and McAleer just takes it himself to the rim. He's got all of New Canaan's 4 points. The tempo is fast for the Panthers. Jared Davis with the ball. Jared Gomez.
Now we're looking at a man-to-man look for the Rams.
Beautiful step-back move from Gomez, but the shot falls short. Here's McAleer again, and he will draw the foul on Delisio. He's a one-man show right now. The captain is having himself a fantastic game.
You mentioned he's the captain. He's also the captain of the baseball team.
Yes, he has one heck of a swing, and I believe a shortstop for that team, if I'm not mistaken. I covered some of their games last year as a PA announcer and a multi-sport student athlete. McAleer doing a fantastic job of keeping the Rams in this one, although he misses the first free throw. And you know, the Rams' 2 captains in McAleer and Hank Poley, who's out for this one. McAleer's the lead by example guy, according to Coach Melzer, while Poley's the more of the vocal one. But both of them get the job done. Here's Gomez. Pressure, they're bringing a lot of full court pressure.
Ryan McAleer's a quiet kid. You don't hear him a lot in the locker room, but he gives it all. He gives it his all on the court all the time.
Smart play from Alex Gibbons, chucking it off the leg of Eram and keeping it in possession for the Rams as they've cut the 8-0 lead to just 3 on the 5-0 run. 1:16 left in the first quarter as Kaynor Tech has a surprising early lead over New Canaan, the reigning D4 champions. Alex Gibbons open for 3. He'll take it, and he will make it. His first triple on the year, and it's perfect. Very accustomed to seeing that from him. McAleer deflects it. Magnus down low, gets it to McAleer, and with finesse, he puts it in. He's got 6 already.
Just like that, the Rams are in front.
And another steal. Here's Gibbons behind the back to Magnus. Nice adjustment and an and one bucket off the second chance putback.
If I'm Hank Spellman, I would call a timeout right now. This Kaynor Tech team looks really deflated.
Hank Spellman and his program, one of the better ones up in that CTC conference. They got up to the early 8-0 lead, but just like that, a 12-0 run would deflate any team.
Colin Russo and Brandon Seachin check in for Alex Gibbons and Ryan McAleer.
And maybe you should be down on that sideline, Brendan. Spellman will call a timeout before Magnus shoots the free throw with 39.4 seconds left in quarter number 1. And what rejuvenated the Rams on both sides of the ball? Was it the opportunities they created for themselves on defense?
Absolutely it was. When they're finally getting steals, they're getting stops on defense, they're getting Kaynor Tech out of the 2-3 zone that they want to play.
Coach Melzer mentioned in the interview that they do play a lot of zone, Kaynor Tech that is, and not a lot of FCAC teams run the kind of zone schemes that Kaynor Tech does. And as a guy who just played in the JV game, Brendan, up against Kaynor Tech's JV squad, what does the zone present challenge-wise for a player on offense?
Well, it's harder to get to the paint against the zone because they're all centered around the paint. You're not sticking with one man. But when it's a fast break, you can't set up a zone. And that's why the Rams are taking advantage of their fast break opportunities.
And a big part of this Melzer offense is getting to the lane and eventually trying to create kick-out opportunities on three-point shots. Finally, they are able to get to the lane, a lot of fast break buckets. But we haven't seen a lot of kickouts as the Rams have been stuffed from the painted red area. Here's Leo Magnus, first free throw shot of his starting career. He does not get it to go. Christian Sweeney tried to jab it loose. He'll try again, and he will. Brandon Seachin picks the ball up. Great steal from the junior. Not a great finish from Aaron Fishman. Colin Russo gets it back. Christian Sweeney, three ball is offline, but it's saved by Magnus, and it's Fishman who will keep it in bounds.
Colin Russo.
Russo gears up for the three, and he splashes it in as the fan favorite gets the bucket.
He's another voice you hear in the locker room. Everyone loves this guy. You listen to the crowd.
I mean, it's pretty loud, Brendan. Colin Russo didn't play a whole lot last season.
He did not play a lot on varsity, although he did get minutes on JV.
And all of a sudden, he's a guy who stepped up in a big way in the rotation with those injuries. He's created himself an opportunity, or an opportunity was created for himself, and he makes the best of it. The three ball is offline from Jared Gomez, and that is the end of quarter number one. Kaynor Tech Panthers went up 8-0 early, but a 15-0 run from New Canaan, capped off by that Colin Russo three ball, have the Rams up 7.
Once the Rams get going, this student section is electric,
to say the least. And Russo, the younger son of famed radio talk show host Mad Dog Russo, who is in the stands tonight. But Colin, again, didn't play a whole lot last year, but the Rams have struggled to shoot the three ball early, Brendan, and they could use a lot more of him and a lot more of those three-point shots if they want to keep that lead in the second.
Yeah, even at the beginning of this year, he was not looking at a lot of playing time, but with injuries to Will Bozzella and Steven Panzano, he's made a noticeable spot in this rotation.
And Panzano, a junior who is a great shot creator and a good shooter, suffered an injury. He played in the JV game earlier. He's working his way back into the lineup. Meanwhile, Will Bozzella, who played a lot last year for the Rams down the stretch, suffered a partially torn ACL in the middle of last year, just when he was getting hot at the beginning of the year, and then re-injured it this season, and he will most likely be out for the entire year. And Hank Poley, the starting center and vocal captain of this team, had a terrific preseason, Brendan, and he'll be out for a good chunk of change. And John Hall and Dennis Mulcahy, number 22, will check in right now. Will take up his minutes at the 5. And here's Delicio. This is not too deep of a Panthers squad, so most of the starters are still out here. Meanwhile, the Rams have primarily backups with Magnus and Seachin still in. Magnus gets the steal, slows it down, and brings it up the court. Here's Christian Sweeney, a football star. We'll get to that in a second. Russo's open for three, and he'll shoot it again. He is hot right now.
This place is jumping in.
I know you're excited. You're a teammate of his, Brendan, and I don't think a lot of people have expected him to go off the way he has, but he's getting the open looks. Magnus on the steal. Delicio's all over him. You mentioned it. Magnus can handle the ball pretty well. And as soon as I say that, I jinx him, and he loses it. Good pressure from Scott Delicio. But Russo is making some great shots right now.
Danny Melzer is proud of the length of these guys on the court. That's why he's comfortable playing a man-to-man offense. Man-to-man defense, sorry.
The Rams are now up 10, an 18-0 run. The last 6 points solely from Colin Russo off three balls. That ball hit Anthony Soler right in the face and out of bounds on Kaynor Tech. And Christian Sweeney to inbound it for the Rams. Sweeney, a football star, plays running back, wide receiver, and even started at quarterback in the semifinals of state up against St. Joe's. Really great timing by myself as Christian Sweeney gets the and one bucket. Played a lot for them off the bench last year, and is going to be the sixth man for him this year. A really great energy player, Brendan.
Yeah, he's a hustle guy. You notice him in practice. He's got sharp elbows. He's always diving on the floor. He's a spark plug for this Rams team.
And his twin brother, Braden, also a terrific football player and a JV basketball player as well. Might see him later on in this one. They're identical, so we'll point out the numbers. Here's Soler, pressure from Sweeney, a really great defender. As you look, he's looking for a steal on every single play.
There's only one gear with Christian Sweeney.
He's always on the move, running at 100%. McAleer is gonna check back in for Sweeney, who's best used in those short spurts. McAleer, great start to this game. He had all 6 of New Canaan's first 3 buckets. Down low, kicking it out to Gomez. McAleer on him. 3 ball for Soler. It's a little strong, but a rebound from Kaynor Tech is lost and stolen by Brandon Sechin. Here on the break, Sechin, floater, no good. Ball up in the air, and Colin Russo gets the rebound. In the corner of Sechin, he's 0 of 2 on threes, make it 0 of 3. Fighting for that one is Russo, and he will get it again. Gibbons open for the 3. That's why you can't leave him open as he splashes it home for his second triple of the night.
I'm noticing that the nerves are gone. You're starting to see the Rams team that we expected.
That's going to be an off-ball foul on the Rams. And it's going to be Brandon Sechin who commits the crime. Aaron Fishman will check in for his fellow senior guard. And Colin Russo is also doing a great job on the boards, but Kaynor Tech has proven they're a pretty good rebounding team as well.
Yeah, I mean, despite the size difference between these teams, Kaynor Tech is hustling, they're boxing out, and that was the difference at the beginning of this game.
Off the pick and roll, nearly goes awry. Shot is put up and no good for Masai Johnson. Here's Dennis Mulcahy, a junior and a starter on the JV squad who had a really good game. Played a little bit for the Rams on varsity last year, but he'll be their backup big man with Hank Poley sidelined. It will be him and John Hall. And Mulcahy, you look at him, he's a junior. He's massive, and he's really well built, one of the stronger guys on this team.
Yeah, you don't see it a lot, but when he gets into you, you feel it.
Gibbons kicking it to McAleer. He'll go baseline. Tough shot, but he draws the foul on Johnson. McAleer has one of the quickest first steps in the FCAC. It feels like he is so good at getting by his defender. Not only getting to the lane for lay-ins, but he's always creating opportunities for himself at the charity stripe. And McAleer swishes the first. He's 2 for 3 on free throws. As we get a look at some of the highlights so far from this one, here's the Ryan McAleer one. As you see, definitely some contact there from Johnson. McAleer makes both shots. The Rams are now up 18 points. They're on an astounding 26-0 run. Gomez is trapped in the corner, and he'll just throw it right off of Gibbons as Hank Spellman will call his second timeout of the game.
The Rams are now on a 26-0 run after Kaynor Tech bursted out to an 8-0 start.
It was a little bit shocking, had us caught by surprise when Kaynor Tech got up so quick so early. Fast break buckets, Colin Russo 3 balls. There's one of them right there. He's looked great in this one. Really, he's come out of nowhere, to be completely honest, and had himself a fantastic game. He was able to keep the momentum for the Rams going from the last bucket in the first quarter to the first bucket of the second quarter.
What I'm seeing is that Kaynor Tech is on their heels. They're not as comfortable in their defense anymore, and that's why the Rams are getting better shots.
Not to mention, Brendan, this is not a deep Kaynor Tech team. I mean, they have 5 starters, and their 5 bench players pretty much are their JV starters that you just played. So New Canaan has a very deep bench, a really well-run program from top to bottom, JV, freshman, and varsity. So a lot of other guys the Rams can go to for valuable minutes.
Yeah.
Ball is stolen by Fishman, and he gets
he's tripped up
by the hardwood, but Ryan McAleer saves it. Gibbons is open for the three. He's going to have to take that, and he's going to have to make that. That's the third triple in the first half for Alex Gibbons. Picking up right where he left off in States last year, where he went 11 of 12 in the Rams' last two playoff games up against St. Joe's on the road and Granby Memorial at Mohegan Sun Arena. And there's a reason why he's going to college to play basketball. The Rams' leading scorer his sophomore year, John Hall, back in the game, nearly gets the steal.
Seen a full court man-to-man look from the Rams.
Ball will stay in Kaynor Tech possession, players pointing everywhere. But the Panthers will keep it as Leo Magnus will check in for Colin Russo, who gets a chance for just hitting the bench.
I'll tell you, Ian, everyone here loves him.
They were able to get that inbound in, but just barely, as Gomez swings it over to Soler. Soler to D'Alessio. Looking to set something up, but the Rams are playing some stingy defense right now. Gomez in the corner. Spellman giving some orders. He is not happy right now with this stalled out Kaynor Tech team. There's no shot clock, so they can take all the time they want. And it's going to be an off-ball foul on Aaron Fishman. His first. Both teams are in the bonus for the first half, so D'Alessio will have a chance to get Kaynor Tech back on the scoreboard and finally stop this 29-0 New Canaan run. And he will splash it home. He'll get a second attempt thanks to the 1-and-1. A 20-point New Canaan lead. As Kaynor Tech went up early, but it's been all New Canaan ever since. It's a momentum gain, and Kaynor Tech just got a little bit of momentum back. 2 point guards really are on the floor right now for New Canaan, and Fishman and McAleer. But McAleer is playing off ball right now at the moment. Magnus getting it down to McAleer, risky pass. Gibbons jabbing, contested mid-range shot, will airball, and will be saved by Magnus until it gets into D'Alessio's hands. Solid pump fake, right back out to D'Alessio. A couple of give and goes. Really crafty play from Scott D'Alessio, sets himself up with the bucket. Here's Fishman again. Swinging it down low. And they're going to catch Ryan McAleer on the travel. He even knew that. He's smiling. He knew. You know when you travel, Brendan, don't you?
Yeah. You're at a point where you know you did it and there's nothing you can do to change it.
Yes, hope the refs don't see it. Soler kicking it up to Johnson. Johnson nearly loses it. Good defense from John Hall. There's someone losing it. Christian Sweeney's going to go all the way and put it in right off the glass.
As I said earlier, he's a spark plug. He can change the momentum just like that. Again,
the Rams are really hounding the Panthers pressure-wise. A tough fall for Soler as he's down on the court. Christian Sweeney is offline on the three ball. Soler.
Officials timeout due to injury.
It is going to be Anthony Soler with the injury.
Mike Morales checks into the game for him.
Rams have done a really crafty thing, Brendan, where anytime any Kaynor Tech player brings it up the court, two guys swarm to him instantly, forcing almost a turnover a good chunk of the time. What do you guys call that, and how's it worked when you just trap two guys on the break?
It's house secret, Ian.
House secret. Good idea. Good point. I got a basketball player here. I'm trying to get something out of him. But hey, if it works, that's all that matters. Christian Sweeney's open in the corner again, and again he will miss it from the opposite corner. Here's Jared Gomez, one of the primary ball handlers for his team, alongside Scott D'Alessio. McAleer with some tight defense. He'll get the screen. Ball is going to be out of bounds, but stay in Kaynor Tech possession. House Secret. You're a funny guy.
Now the Rams have a deep bench, which is why they want to make Kaynor Tech run. Kaynor Tech is thin, but they want to get him tired.
Miscommunication as Johnson will turn it over himself. Christian Sweeney kind of baited him into that one. He ran with him, and then he just let him fly. And he'll get the ball without having to hit the hardwood. But a miscommunication on that one. Delicio was looking for Eram the cut. He didn't, and that's what created a turnover. As McAleer will bring it up. The Rams leading leader in assists last year per game with 6. And obviously, I'll probably say it every single game with that viral game-winning shot up against Stanford, Danny Melzer's alma mater, on that half-court as game expired buzzer beater right on this court. A fantastic shot. But much more than just that shot. A terrific player. Here's Alex Gibbons, another one of the Rams' best. Up to McAleer, and the senior duo connect on that beautiful feed from Gibbons. Spellman will call yet another timeout as the Rams lead extends up to 21. Actually,
he stepped over the line when he was inbounding the ball, which is a violation, so it's the Rams' ball.
Wow. This is why we got you. Even things as simple as inbounding, in the middle of the game, not always automatic. But Aaron Fishman's automatic on that one. Getting the 3 to go. He shot a couple early on and missed them. He's 1 of 3 now with that make from beyond the arc. Leo Magnus gets a great steal, and with a pump fake is going to draw a foul. A veteran play from a junior. Get a second look at NC bucket in a second. As Colin Russo is gearing to check in, you can already hear the chants as Magnus rattles the first free throw out as Fishman checks out. Getting a look at that one from Magnus on the pump fake, drawing the foul. Sometimes I go to the Y and I attempt to play basketball, Brendan. You've seen me there. And Dennis Mulcahy goes there often, and he always tells me you got to go up with the pump fake if you want to draw a foul. I never really believed him, but Leo, another junior like Dennis, goes up with it there and gets one of his 2 free throw shots to fall.
All of these guys go to the Y. They're all looking to get more work in to improve themselves outside of practice.
Christian Sweeney with a fantastic fast break bucket through contact. The spark plug gets it to go. And also a lacrosse player as well as Sweeney outside of football. There's really no offseason for him or his brother. And his older brother, Tyler Sweeney, the Rams' leading scorer of all time, with over, actually not of all time, but an exclusive club here in New Canaan. He hit 1,000 points here a few years ago. A great player for them.
He's currently playing at Occidental College in California.
And I'm pretty sure he's in the stands tonight to support his 2 brothers. Another steal. Russo had a terrific first quarter, but that one, he led Leo Magnus a little bit too up the field.
Magnus wanted to dunk that.
And I'm excited. I've heard a lot of these guys are willing to dunk the ball this year. Last year, we only saw Matt Brand dunk it really in game. But, we've heard Gibbons. We could see a dunk out of him. Leo Magnus. Who are some other guys who we could see a jam from potentially this year and give us some highlight reel plays?
Ryan McAleer.
Really?
Jonathan Hall.
Well, when you're 6'8".
Yeah. Well, Coach Melzer makes it a priority at practice to dunk. It counts as more points during layup lines if you dunk with 2 hands.
I thought it would be the opposite, especially for Coach Melzer, who believes so much in the fundamentals. But an interesting tidbit. Christian Sweeney tried to keep that ball in bounds, but just couldn't get there in time. John Hall will check in for McAleer. As the Rams go with a bigger lineup here, they really don't have a true point guard on the floor. But they have ball handlers in Gibbons and Magnus.
Backcourt violation for the Panthers.
Again, another
Scott
mistake.
Delisio is clearly frustrated right now.
Another mistake that should not be happening. Rams making a couple more substitutions. McAleer just checked out, and he'll check right back in. alongside Aaron Fishman. So the Rams go from no point guards to 2 point guards.
And Colin Russo can also handle the ball.
That pass out of bounds. Gibbons could not corral it with his 6'3" frame.
1.9 seconds left in the half. We're looking for a final shot from Kaynor Tech.
And it looks like they will not get that one to go. Great block from Alex Gibbons. A 39-12 lead for the New Canaan Rams. As one heck of a run, Brendan. Down 8-0 early, did not look good. Jim, as quiet as can be, but fast break buckets, Colin Russo points, and a lot of great play defensively have the Rams on a 39-4 run, looking to get their 3rd straight win against Kaynor Tech this year. What is your biggest takeaway from the first half from New Canaan and how they've looked so far?
Well, at the beginning, they were looking jitterish for sure. They weren't getting good shots. They weren't getting stops on defense. But once they started getting steals, once they started getting rebounds, they were able to run and gun like they want to do.
And who would be your first half MVP from New Canaan, maybe outside of Colin Russo because he's everyone's MVP as a fan favorite?
I would have to say Ryan McAleer because he got the game started with 6 points when they were down 8-0. He really got the crowd going.
Well, the crowd is going now. Rams looking to get win number 1 after being number 1 in D4 last year. Brendan Tiscorni, Ian Nicholas, and the rest of the NCTV crew will be back in the second half of this one. Rams up 39-12 over the Panthers. Hello, everyone. Ian Nicholas, Brendan Tiscornia, and the rest of the NCTV crew back for the second half of New Canaan basketball. It's 39-12 as the Rams have had, well, an up and down road this first half. Brendan down 8-0 early. They've gone on a 39-4 run, led by a lot of contribution from a lot of different guys. But senior captain Ryan McAleer and senior fan favorite Colin Russo have been two guys who have really guided the Rams. McAleer, I believe, with 8 points. Russo with 6 off a couple threes. In a moment, we're going to get to all the first half highlight action. But Kaynor Tech just looks gassed. Brendan, what about you take us through some of these first half highlights?
Well, you're finally seeing some rebounding towards the end of the first quarter and the second quarter. And that's why New Canaan's scoring more points, because they're getting second chance buckets.
And here we see here the second of, actually that was the second of 3 Alex Gibbon three-pointers. He's also had a big first half as well after a bit of a slow start. The Rams are really starting to find their identity. They're picking up right where they left off last year. And there's a 3-ball, I believe, from Colin Russo. The Rams are just getting back to their bread and butter. They're simplifying it a little bit. Last year, it was a pass-heavy offense, Brendan. This year, looks like the team's playing a lot more free, a lot more up-tempo. Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, it's also a matter of they're playing a team that runs a 2-3 zone. There's a lot more motion when it comes to a man-to-man defense. But against a zone defense, the offensive players are often more stationary, and there's a lot more three-point shooting.
I know you guys couldn't see Brendan putting his hand up, but I appreciate that he was guiding me through it because, well, I'm not the best basketball players. Anyway, good point. You don't see a lot of 2-3 zone down here with a lot of these FCAC teams, and that could change up the way the Rams want to play. Also in the highlight package, you saw Christian Sweeney, the spark plug, as you called him, come off the bench. He had a great game defensively and also a lot of fast break buckets created for him. 1v1, he's a very hard guy to stop down the court.
Yeah, he's a bowling ball out there.
Good point. You know,
once he gets going, you can't stop him.
He's a guy who played youth football quarterback here. I was honored to be on a lot of his teams because he carried our football teams as a running quarterback. He transitioned the running back as a sophomore on a football team, and I didn't really think he was going to be the best runner because I didn't think he was as physical. But he's really bulked up, just like his brother Braden, and he's just, as you mentioned, a force to be reckoned with, and he translates that to the basketball floor. As Danny Melzer, the head coach for New Canaan, is getting chants from the student section. He's the first New Canaan head coach since the legendary Don Usher in the late 1990s to coach and teach at New Canaan High School. Won just 9 games over his first 2 years here at New Canaan, but obviously last year, the magical 19-win championship-winning year for the Rams, he has become one of the favorite teachers in the school as a physical education and health teacher. Here's Brandon Seachin wide open in the corner. He has struggled from beyond the arc, even though that's his calling card.
Out of bounds on Kaynor Tech. That's a rough start to the half for the Panthers.
That one is going to be on Mike Morales, who got a little bit of playing time in the first half.
Sophomore.
Good point. Off the miss from Seachin. He was trying to corral it. Seachin looking to inbound. He gets it to Magnus, working it up to McAleer. Seachin open again. He hesitates this time. Good move. Open in the corner is Leo Magnus, and he will not get it to go. John Hall grabs the rebound, and it looks like it's going to be a foul on Kaynor Tech.
Number 25, Jaden Jones.
It is going to be Jaden Jones, who played in the JV game. You matched up against him a little bit, Brendan. He's a big guy. What does he have in his arsenal?
He's very big, very strong. He's a force to be reckoned with down in the paint.
Seachin again open in the corner, and again another miss. It just hasn't been his game, even though he gets praise from his fellow players and Coach Melzer. Down low, Magnus.
The thing with Seachin is he's not going to shy away from shooting it. He could miss 100 in a row, and he'd still pull that shot.
That shows the faith this coaching staff has in him. Here's Gibbons working it back and forth. Magnus again for three, and this time it's perfect from beyond the arc.
This student section really has been the sixth man for this team, not letting Kaynor Tech get back into the game.
And also, happy holidays, everyone out there. December 20th, the last day of school for everyone. Here at New Canaan High, as Jaden Jones gets the bucket down low, but the student section repping out in green and red. And New Canaan will play a couple of games over the holiday break, so unfortunately, no holiday trips planned for this basketball team. Shot is off from Gibbons.
They play Harding on Monday at home. They play in the Southington Holiday Tournament starting the December 27th.
And then the next Friday, a huge matchup, one of the better matchups in the state this year. Trinity Catholic, who's the favorite to win the FCIAC this year, up against the New Canaan Rams, obviously another favorite to win it. They finished 4th last year in FCIAC play.
Hank Poley's optimistic prediction is that he will be back for that game.
Coach Melzer told me the timeline was 4 to 6 weeks. I've heard a month, but he thinks, I should say, he could be back in a few weeks. On the Rams sideline right now, they could use that vocal leader back on the court. Seachin again, he'll shoot it again. He'll make it this time. As you mentioned, Brendan, you really couldn't put it any better. When he's open, he's going to shoot it. And finally, it falls for the senior starter.
He's confident, you know?
And he gets his own chance from the bomb squad as he fights for that one. Does a little bit of a cartwheel on the ground with DeCilio. But good job from Scott DeLicio to keep that one in Kaynor Tech hands.
Everyone on this Rams team is willing to dive on the floor for a loose ball. This is something that Danny Melzer preaches, that you have to hustle to play in the games.
Really no ego from any of these players. They're willing to do anything they need to do to make an impact. Shot missed by Masai Johnson because he was fouled, so he'll get chances at the line.
For the Panthers, Masai Johnson shoots 2.
This is a team with one All-FCIAC player from a year ago
And
that
Alex
still
Gibbons.
won 19, Matt Brand.
Well, good point. He's no longer on the team, but get back to your point. This is a team that doesn't have those star players but still gets it done.
They work as a team. They pass the ball, they play defense, they're all selfless, and they all would fight for each other.
But in the preseason predictions this year, from the Rudin Report, they projected 2 guys to make FCIAC teams in McAleer and Brand. McAleer and Gibbons, they both have the talent to do so. As Seachin cannot get that to go. McAleer fighting on the boards to no prevail. And they're going to get a travel call. Coach Melzer was looking for it, and he will get it. Kaynor Tech was focused on getting the ball in their hands. They weren't focused on the dribbling aspect. They get a second look at that one. Seachin misses again after his make a second ago. McAleer fought on the boards. There's John Hall. And it's going to be Masai Johnson who ended up trying to rip the ball away from John Hall and ended up traveling. Coach Spellman is going to call a timeout with his team down 29 points, the Rams' biggest lead of the night, with 5.5 minutes left to go in quarter number 3. Kaynor Tech went on an 8-0 run to begin this game. Ever since, they've only scored 8 to New Canaan's 45.
Kaynor Tech lost a lot of starters from last year, and 2 of those returning players are injured right now. How do you think has that affected the game?
Well, heading into this game, this is one of the thinner teams the Rams will play all year, and you lose 2 stars, Brendan. And these guys, it's surprised they're still running up and down the court the way they are. They're showing a lot of effort. They're giving it their all. But, you know, endurance and stamina, those problems kick in for a team that's dealing with injuries right now. And already a heavy underdog heading into this game. That does not do any favors. Seach in the inbound gets it to Magnus. Nearly ripped away by the Panthers. Seachin will shoot it again, and he will nail it. There was a foul during the shot, which won't affect the shot. That one is
feeling
going.
it right now, Ian.
He is. He's 2 for 3 on his last 3 from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, that penalty, that foul, was on Richard Eram. He already has 4 on the game. Here's a second look at that Seachin 3 ball. He doesn't need a whole lot of room to shoot it, and I love how Leo Magnus was going for the dunk putback. He's not afraid to get up there and elevate, but he didn't need to.
He is not.
He did not need to. And thanks to that foul from Eram, New Canaan's going to get the ball right back, and that shot is going to count. Checking in, number 21, Nate Gehring for the first time tonight. Here's Gibbons, deep 3, he will not take it. And looks like it might have been a travel on Seachin.
I think he might have stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, that one of the back of his
heels. Oh no,
heels.
it was a foul on Jonathan Hall, number 33.
Good point. Hall hasn't really showed up a whole lot on the stat sheet tonight, as the Rams knew.
He's 3 fouls. Look for Dennis Mulcahy to check into the game.
And the coaches have a lot of confidence in Dennis. He's done really well on JV the last 2 years. But right now, it's the John Hall show. Here's McAleer. McAleer will lay it in. Looks like he's going up for the dunk for the second, but that one was contested. McAleer, a phenomenal finisher, always gets it done at the rim. Pressure all around. Here's Gehring in the corner. And Alicio gets walled off by Seachin. Just goes up with the floater. Interesting shot. On the boards is Masai Johnson to no prevail on the putback. Floating it up to Seachin. He catches it and puts it in. Solid effort on the fast break from Mike Morales to stop him. But the bleed will continue to flow. New Canaan, the points continue to pour.
This team's still going 100 miles an hour with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And as you see here, they have 3 other dudes checking into the game. That's because their team is so deep, they can go to any given guy at any given time.
They can roll out with numerous lineups really whenever they want to. In a lot of different ways. This team can play small ball. They can play with big guys. They have true ball handlers. They have points. They can really do it all. Here's Delicio, who gets it to go. And I bet Coach Melzer wouldn't like it any other way if he were assembling this team. Colin Russo, Christian Sweeney, Aaron Fishman check in.
Going with a bit of a small ball lineup, Ian.
True point. True. That is a true point, Brendan. Alex Gibbons is the biggest guy on the court right now at 6'3". Ryan McAleer got a little carried away on the no-look pass. He turns it over for New Canaan. Good defense from Alex Gibbons, forcing the turnover, forcing the missed shot. Fishman for the corner 3. Russo, no good. 2 for 3 on triples so far in this one. Fishman getting in the face of Masai Johnson, almost forcing the turnover, but it will be out on him.
The Rams can afford a fast break on defense because they're playing man-to-man. They can match up with their man. But Kaynor Tech, on the other hand, it's hard to set up back in his zone.
And it looks like that's going to be a charge or a blocking foul on
Alex Gibbons.
As he had Mike Morales just run right into him. Gibbons is a pretty big guy. You don't want to run into that guy.
He's another guy that's more lead by example.
McAleer steals it right off the inbound. Russo not afraid to shoot it, and he just misses that one. Down low to McAleer. He hits the bottom of the backboard, and then he misses that one off the glass. Russo started a perfect 2 for 2 in the first quarter. In the first half, I should say. He's missed his last 2 threes, but again, like Seachin, not afraid to shoot it. Johnson misses the lay-in. Here's Gibbons on the break. McAleer with a really fantastic finish.
He wanted to dunk that one too.
You could tell. He went low with it, and then he had to finish through contact. Great finish regardless. McAleer continues to rack up points in this one. Another missed layup. Gehring nearly grabs the rebound. McAleer with the great effort. nearly connecting with Alex Gibbons and almost putting some of our people, some of our statisticians on the line. That was a collision avoided, luckily. It will stay in New Canaan possession. And it's interesting that McAlert is not that great a shooter, or I should say isn't that willing a shooter, as Gibbons gets the easy layup to go. Yet is such a great scorer, Brendan.
Well, he's a pass-first point guard that's big and strong and can finish around the rim.
Magnus and Seachin are looking to check in for the Rams. Gehring sets up the screen, and that one is just blocked right out of the air by McAleer. Again, they try to set up another pick and roll. McAleer is all over it defensively. Gibbons gets it, and Gibbons will jam it. And I'm pretty sure that's an and one bucket for the Rams. First dunk of the year. Gibbons lets it fly, and the bomb squad is impressed, to say the least. I would have gotten a lot louder, but the whistle came well before the dunk, so I didn't know what was happening. But he let me know what was happening on that slam jam, doing his best Matt Brand impression as he lets it rip at the rim. Second look. Fouling him on that one was Delicio, trying to slow him down. He misses the free throw. Rams are up 40. Here's Johnson. Shot is blocked.
Oh, they're going to count it as goaltending.
He knew that one too. He's not even arguing with the refs. But he's so fired up right now that Coach Melzer, he's just smirking.
I'm sorry, they actually called a foul on Gibbons.
Getting a little bit too carried away emotionally.
This crowd's loving the effort from Gibbons right now.
He's not afraid to get emotional either. He shows it all on the court. You know, second look right here at that one. Yeah, that was some clear contact. As Johnson misses the first free throw, sinks the second. Kaynor Tech has just 11 points since the end of the first quarter, compared to New Canaan.
Seeing some pressure from Kaynor Tech, not something that was in the scouting report.
New Canaan has thrived using that full court press all game long, really bringing the heat.
They're also falling into a man-to-man look for the first time this game.
Swinging it in the corner for Colin Russo. No look past the Magnus. Seachin nowhere to go for the three. Christian Sweeney's open. He's clapping for it. Can he back it up? No, it's well short. Jones with the rebound. Here's Delicio.
To Morales.
Morales right back to number 2. Fadeaway 3-ball. Perfect shot. Give him credit. Scott Delicio is having himself a great game for a struggling Panthers squad.
Yeah, he's really been the heart and soul of this Panthers team. Two starters going down to injury. He's been the rock that's holding them together.
Seachin again takes the open corner 3-ball. He is a corner specialist. He misses, and Fishman fails to corral the rebound as Delicio brings it right back up. Seachin on the guard.
Fishman's a smaller guy, but he's certainly not afraid to get down and dirty with the big boys.
Really great play from Delicio there. He misses the layup. New Canaan player lost the ball. Got it right back, and he makes the lay-in.
Fouls on number 22 of the Commanders, Mike Morales. His second and the team's fourth.
Fishman the inbound as quietly this Panthers team has a little bit of momentum. Fishman looks to silence it. He can't as he misses the 3. Just over half a minute left in quarter number 3. Here's Morales. Pull-up 3, well short from Delicio, who proved a moment ago he has the ability to pop those 3 balls. But the pull-up 3 is one of the harder shots in the game for a reason.
Believe it or not, Panthers are on a 6-0 run of their own.
Rams look to quiet it. Fastball pass and a dunk from Leo Magnus.
Leo Magnus is skilling and thrilling here at the New Canaan High School gym.
Okay, well, Clyde Frazier. Great pass from Christian Sweeney, the junior to junior connection. These guys have played with each other for a long time, as Delicio can't get that last shot off in the third quarter, as the Rams lead by 36 points, 60-24, capped off by that Leo Magnus jam, where he just elevated. You rarely see a player from New Canaan get that high with that little windup. You mentioned he's just a natural athlete.
Yeah. He works out hard in the offseason. Even outside of the program, you see him at the Y. He's always putting in work.
And Coach Melzer, heading in the last year when the Rams first got hot, you know, he mentioned this team is so well-knit, so close together. They always spend so much time at the Y, at different camps, working together. And it's really the bond and the chemistry. Very similar kind of to the football team and how they got off to a slow start. And Coach Marinelli was preaching chemistry. But there's nothing you can teach about size and jumps. Size and hops, I should say. Leo just gets right up there. Good pass from Sweeney. Christian Sweeney doesn't dominate one single aspect of the game, but he just does so many things well that you have to play him even though he's a junior. And he's a football player, which means he doesn't get that time in the offseason to refine his game.
Now look at this. Mario Castaldo, Braden Sweeney, Steven Panzano, and Dennis Mulcahy have all checked into the game.
And Mario is getting some chance of his own, a senior, his first year here in New Canaan High School. And he gets his first varsity playing time. Braden Sweeney got some varsity playing time last year, #1. Twin brother of Christian Sweeney. Steven Panzano working his way back from an injury. A really talented shot maker. And Dennis Mulcahy, very talented big man. And Aaron Fishman, obviously, he's gotten plenty of playing time today. That ball is loose, and it is out on Delicio. New Canaan will keep possession as Castaldo will go to inbound. Mario Castaldo, that is. Fishman is getting pressed by Delicio. Fastball pass, a little bit too hot for the 6'6" frame of Dennis Mulcahy to corral. Last year, before I covered the New Canaan Darien game right here at the gym, Mulcahy dunked in a JV game and made me lose my voice before the broadcast. But outside of that, he's going to be a great player for the Rams for a long time. And even though no one wanted to see Hank Pulley go down for an injury, his injury does provide ample playing time for Mulcahy.
Dennis is a big, strong kid, but he's also athletic. These Rams big men, they can run just as well as their guards.
An underrated athlete. Not a guy who's going to hold the ball and pass it, but a guy who can run with the rest of the guys on the team. And a former member of NCTV. Panzano to inbound. As Richard Eram checks out for the Panthers. And checking in is Nate Gehring. Here's Panzano, who gets it right back to Fishman, who's controlling this young offense right now. Castaldo on the drive, and he's going to get called for the travel. Delicio takes his time, 7 minutes and counting left in the fourth and final quarter of this one. Panzano jumps the pass, spin move, loses it. Fishman goes up with it. Mulcahy gets it over everyone and makes up for his teammates' mistakes with that putback.
You can't teach 6'6", Ian.
No, you cannot. And Fishman, not the biggest guy, but also getting it done on defense. Goes right to the hardwood and nearly gets that one. Castaldo nearly gets a steal of his own. It will actually be New Canaan basketball, thanks to the good efforts from both Fishman and Castaldo. Rams up 38 points. Went down early and haven't looked back since. Mulcahy, good pass in the corner for Castaldo, who gets fouled. Played that one really well. Able to draw the contact. And he will head to the line for 3 shots. As Colin Russo gears to check in, who has 6 points on the game. And Mario, if I'm not mistaken, coming over from Europe this year. This is his
He
first
moved from Italy, yes.
moving from Italy. And you want to talk about him a little bit as a teammate, Brendan? As a first-year guy here, not just at the high school, but here in the country, and playing basketball here for New Canaan High?
Yeah, he's settling in fine. He practices. He's certainly not afraid to pull the trigger. Can finish at the rim, but he's coming here to America so that he can try and get into an American college.
He's 1 of 3 from the charity stripe after getting fouled. Here's Morales kicking it back up to Basilio. He'll drive right, kick it out for the 3. Nowhere close for Morales.
Rebound Russo.
And you mentioned Russo can handle it. He'll bring it up here for the Rams. No look past him, Mulcahy. And he's going to travel. That pump fake got a little bit too much there.
He wanted a dunk.
All of them want a dunk, Brendan. It's a big game, big season opener. They have a big lead. They've been working all offseason for it. Want to have a little bit of excitement. Here's Johnson in the high post. Mulcahy all over him. Morales, and now back to Johnson. Great defense from Mulcahy, maybe a little bit too good as he's called for the foul.
Cy Johnson will go to the line for 2 shots.
One of their bigger players is Johnson. He's been trying to get involved all game offensively, and he's had an up and down affair as he's well short on his first shot from the line. And the Rams played a couple of preseason efforts where they got all the players involved from varsity to junior varsity. Brendan, you played in those games. And, preseason, obviously a big part. Hank Poley, a big-time player. And Steven Panzano looks to be a big-time player in the future. Really great move to the lane. Really good hop. Got himself a good shot. Another really athletic player. Looking for Castaldo on the break, and it might have bounced off the top of the backboard and stayed in bounds.
Steven Panzano has the potential to be a spark plug for the Rams, just like Christian Sweeney. He's always going at 100 miles an hour.
And
he doesn't slow down. He always hustles, gets steals on defense. Coach Mel's is definitely excited about him.
Suffered an injury, missed the past few weeks, but he's back just in time for the start of the year, playing both JV and varsity. Even though Christian's not on the court right now, he's had a great game, and Coach Melzer mentioned pre-game as Mike Morales splashes in that 3 for Kaynor Tech, that he is getting more comfortable on the offensive end, which will help the Rams' second unit. Russo loses it for a second, hits the deck, but it looks like they're going to call that one on Kaynor Tech. It's going to be on Delicio. Actually, it's going to be on Colin Russo. Looks like Russo might have tried to trip up Delicio on the way on the break, slow him down.
1-and-1 for Delicio.
Shooting fouls create 2 to 3 free throws, depending on where the shot is on the court, but personal fouls like those get 1-and-1. So if Delicio makes this, he'll earn himself another shot. If he doesn't, then he would have only had 1, but he makes it. Rams still up 34. Just under half the quarter has gone by. 4:32 officially left. As the Rams, each of the last 2 years, they've beaten Kaynor Tech in the first game of the year, and history looks to repeat itself in this one. Panzano, a good shooter, and he proves himself there, splashing home the triple on the wide open take.
He's another guy that's always working on his game, always getting shots up.
Really solid shot creation there from Delicio. Just spun around with it, finally turned it into a pull-up jumper just outside the paint.
Spinning and winning. Oh!
Panzano looks to crash the board after the Braden Sweeney miss on the jam. Can't get it to go.
Braden plays a lot like his brother. He's a big physical guy who plays good defense, gets rebounds, and is not afraid to dive on the floor.
And there is Panzano, who's just a little bit short accuracy-wise on that one. Here's Russo, gets the pick. Beautiful pass to Panzano for another three. He gets hit, and Mulcahy gets it to go off the glass. Another putback for him in this fourth quarter. As NC's bomb squad booing after they thought Panzano was fouled on that three.
Panzano's coming up a little tender, actually.
Might have re-aggravated that lower body injury. Johnson gets physical down low, draws the foul on Mulcahy. That's his second of the quarter for number 22.
Rams foul, Dennis Mulcahy is second.
As Johnson again earns a pair of free throws.
Aside Johnson will shoot 2.
And looking at a second look at that one, Mulcahy just reaches right over Johnson. A little bit of a judgment call, but ref's right down there. See that Mulcahy got a little too physical. And Johnson gets one of 2 free throws to go as Russo brings it up. An underrated part of Russo's game. He's a really good flashy passer in a sense. As he spins,
spinning and
finding
winning.
Braden Sweeney and connecting for that assist. Sweeney gets the jumper to go that time. Really good timing from Colin Russo. I got to give him credit. I say he's a good passer, and then he gets himself open, kicks it out to Braden Sweeney, and gets the bucket for his teammate. As John Hall looks to check in for Mulcahy, who's had a couple of fouls, but also a couple of nice putback buckets for the young big man. Luisio lobbing up to Johnson. He comes down with it. Giving it to Morales. Castaldo on him. Johnson pulls up for the floater, no good. Panzano brings it down on the break. Looking for John Hall, he goes up. Panzano, really nice finish. Up and under, off the feed from John Hall going back and forth.
You're starting to see signs of fatigue from this Kaynor Tech squad.
Even though they are doing a really good job of masking that fatigue, playing with really an 8-man rotation at best. It's been more of a 6-man rotation with the early injuries they suffered. Does not do you very well. Braden Sweeney was begging for that shot. It's a little short as Johnson got there to contest that one. Luisio setting it up for Morales as he gets it to go, and one bucket for the Panthers late in this one. As that one will be on Colin. He gets a little bit carried away. Colin Russo, that is.
Nate Gehring will check into the game for Jaden Jones.
And I know we're on the hardwood right now, but in the bomb squad for probably the last time of his varsity career, Rams legendary quarterback Drew Pine. This is his last day of high school. And he will head off to Notre Dame, South Bend after the Christmas vacation as they wrapped up the football season a little while ago. Pine, really one of the first New Canaan students, as John Hall misses that one, to really jump onto the basketball bandwagon last year. He showed up to every game, has a good bond with Coach Melzer. And it'll be sad to see him go after 4 years of a starter here at New Canaan. That shot missed by the Panthers by Nate Gehring. But Steven Panzano is going to get called on the foul. Getting it to Morales. Actually, that's Soler. There's Morales. He's short on the triple as Russo corrals the rebound and brings it up for New Canaan. No look pass to Braden Sweeney. Nearly loses it. Gets it right back to Russo. Hall is looking for it. He'll set Russo up with the screen. Lead pass to Panzano. As the Rams are just chucking it back and forth here, not risking anything, looking to get something though.
Kaynor Tech's pulling up. They're looking to get steals.
Back and forth. Russo, really good control. You can tell he's comfortable. Beautiful pass, but Panzano was out of bounds.
Kaynor Tech is now in the double bonus, by the way.
Russo's proven he has a really good knowledge of the offense. He knows how to, I guess, control his guys, in a sense. Leading guys off ball, commanding them when and where to go. He's not afraid to let it rip as a passer. 1:06 left as the Rams will be 1-0 in just over a minute as Delicio will just let this one roll. They'll play Harding on Monday. They'll play in that Southington tournament next Friday. Those are the two games they have over break as Morales just chucks it up and draws the foul on Panzano. Meanwhile, the Rams will not see Kaynor Tech maybe till next year. Who knows? Maybe they'll make it 4 straight years of matching up in this out-of-conference matchup. But Kaynor Tech plays mostly teams New Canaan have never really played, considering they're a technical school. They'll play Abbott Tech on Monday, and then their next game isn't till after break on January 3rd up against Whitney Tech. As the Rams, as there is no shot clock here in Connecticut, will probably look to just wind it out with 50 seconds left to go. Well, with Colin Russo on the floor, anything can happen.
Being rejected by Jaden Jones.
Jaden Jones.
Big man still showing signs of life.
Oh. Speaking of signs of life, what a block from Steven Panzano. If there was a back row to this gym, that one would be in row C. As a little bit of collateral damage. He fell on Dennis Mulcahy on that one, but a phenomenal play from the junior late in this one. And a really nice, somewhat hook shot floater by Delicio.
Stalking and blocking for Panzano there.
Getting carried away with these rhymes. And Russo, wow, Delicio was looking for that last minute steal, and Russo yanked it right away. Kicking it out to Mario, and Steven looking to hold on to it. And that is going to be a backcourt violation with 1.5 seconds left. As Danny Melzer is getting a chance yet again from this new Canaan Bomb squad. He's now 1-0 on the new year, officially right now as Delicio misses that shot.
This crowd loves him. They see him in school every day. It's an integral part of the community outside of basketball.
Congratulations, this is Coach Melzer's 80th win as a head coach in 8 years. This is his 29th win over 4 years at New Canaan High, as the Rams are now on a 6-game winning streak starting all the way back from last year. Before we go, we're going to get you those highlights from the second half. We saw the Rams win this one. Final score, 74 New Canaan Rams, 40 Kaynor Tech. Give credit, Kaynor Tech came alive in the second half, but the lead was just a bit too big. Brendan, why don't you take us through these highlights from the second half?
Well, we're starting to see a groove, three-point shooting-wise, especially from the guys towards the end of the game. Brandon Seachin, Aaron Fishman were hitting their shots, and this defense was suffocating all night long, getting steals, really making Kaynor Tech uncomfortable on offense.
And creating a lot of transition buckets that you see in these highlights. The Rams were on the break quite often, conditioning a key for this team, Brendan.
Yes, we run a lot in practice.
I bet a little bit too much if it was your opinion, but hey, it's working. You're getting on the break. Here's Gibbons with the first dunk of the night. We would see one later from Leo Magnus. And a missed putback attempt by Steven Panzano, but the Rams are not afraid to let it fly. Some flashy passing. That one from Christian Sweeney turning into the Leo Magnus jam. The Rams were also great at finishing, able to create opportunities for themselves.
The difference in this game was the depth on both squads. Kaynor Tech only has about 8 or so guys that played in the game, whereas New Canaan has around 12 players who actually played.
And all of them are legitimate players. Younger
All of
guys.
them contribute, yes.
All of them have a big impact on this team. Even a guy like Steven Panzano is a key piece of his team. The team is just so deep that he's just not going to get a whole lot of opportunities, but when he's on the court, he can shoot. He's a great athlete, and he is a great defender, willing to get up and elevate on that one. We're going to wrap it up here from everyone here at NCTV crew. Our do-it-all man, Cortland Parrott. Our camera women, Emily Fox and Amelie Lanoff. Brendan Tiscornia, thank you so much for joining us. You played a JV game before this. You're probably extremely tired, but hey, you got the win there. Your team got the win here. Final score, 74-40, New Canaan defeating Kaynor Tech. They are now 1-0 on the year. Kaynor Tech now 0-1. I've been Ian Nicholas. We will see you next time.
Thank you for watching.